In this video, we are going to cover every one of the 32 NHL teams' best prospects. This video should help give you guys a better insight on what the future of the NHL may hold. Now, when I mention your guys' favorite team and there's a chance I don't mention the best prospect, kindly let me know down below. With that being said, here's my opinion for every NHL team's best prospect. First is none other than the Atlantic Division, starting with the Boston Bruins, with the player being Mason Lohrei. Where Lohrei stood out was as a puck carrier. His puck skills and smaller situations stuck out as a distinct positive in a few instances, particularly for someone of his stature. He's got a snappy wrist shot with a good form and ability to generate a lot of power with very little movement, suggestive of a really strong upper body. While he does not need to grow and get stronger, there are times where he could have kept things simple. However, it doesn't hinder his play or harm the team. Good things always tend to happen when he's on the ice. Next up is the Buffalo Sabres, and the player being Zach Benson. Zach Benson is definitely one of the most underrated forwards in the 2023 draft class. He was second in the WHL scoring amongst draft-eligible players, only behind Connor Bedard. He competed in 60 games where he tallied 36 goals and 62 assists for a grand total of 98 points. If it were any other year, he definitely would have been a top 3 overall candidate. Next up is the Detroit Red Wings, with the player being Simon Edvinsson. Edvinsson is very mobile across all zones of the ice. He's always finding a way to be involved and plays in both the offensive and defensive zone. Coming in at 6'6", he utilizes his frame and doesn't shy away from physical contact. Simon possesses one of the strongest two-way games out of the 2021 draft pool, and his skills present him as a player incredibly mature for his age and experience. Next is the Florida Panthers with Justin Sourdif. Sourdif has proven that hard work in Tennessee pays off, as he's become one of the WHL's top two-way players. He has great awareness in the offensive zone, along with a laser-quick shot, impressive playmaking abilities, and a strong puck control under pressure, while also having the same high-end awareness in the defensive zone as well. Additionally, he can play both center and wing and be effective on both a power play and penalty kill. So versatility is another weapon in his arsenal. With that being said, Sourdif is going to become a very valuable player for the Florida Panthers. Though if he wants to ultimately get that point, he's going to have to bulk up a bit more and be more consistent with his offense. But that should come with more time and physical development. Next up is the Montreal Canadiens with Yuri Slafkovsky. Are you looking for the best place to buy tickets, whether it's sports, concerts, or shows for the cheapest price? Head on over to SeatGeek, select the event you want to go to, and head on over to the checkout and use code AthletePlug for 20% off on orders $50 or more. What are you waiting for? Go on over to SeatGeek and get your tickets now. As for what he brings with his game, he's a big kid at 6'4" and around 220 pounds. He has the potential to grow into a legitimate power forward by definition with his high-end offensive skill and his ability to engage in a big way physically. Call it a mean streak, but Slafkovsky's size and physical edge makes him arguably one of the more dominant players in the draft. But we did not get to see that this past season. In 39 games, he put up 4 goals and 6 assists. Next up is the Ottawa Senators with Jordan Donovan. Selected 6th overall by the Bulldogs at the 2020 OHL Priority Selection, Donovan credits his upbringing for his work ethic and competitive nature. Being the son of former NHLer and noted competitor Sean Donovan, who played 951 games and racked up 705 penalty minutes, certainly helps as he was able to get advice and pointers from him as he grew up. Donovan definitely has the makings of a top 4 NHL defenseman. With his size, mobility, and confidence with the puck, he is perfectly suited for the NHL game right now. Add in his willingness to drive the play and attack the net, along with his competitive work ethic, we could see him being a bigger Adam Fox type defenseman. Up next is the Tampa Bay Lightning with Ethan Gauthier. If there's one player that you would want on your team, but would absolutely hate to play against, it's forward Ethan Gauthier. Forward Ethan Gauthier definitely fits the description, as he's always a thorn in the opposition side. Gauthier is very crafty and deceptive with the puck on his stick. He has great control and soft hands to make moves around defenders, and has the awareness to always carry the puck to open ice for prime scoring chances or setting up plays. Gauthier is great at helping on the back check if the play is about to leave the zone. He's constantly finding the puck carrier, making timely stick lifts and tie-ups in order to force a turnover. He's always back checking to the blue line in order to keep the play alive, showing his ability to play on both sides of the puck. He's strong at clogging up the lanes, keeping players to the outside, and uses well-timed stick checks to apply pressure. Last up in the Atlantic Division, we have the Toronto Maple Leafs with Easton Cohen. If you're looking for a player who could be a steal of the 2023 NHL draft, look no forward than Easton Cohen. Despite being undersized, he has a complete hockey toolkit that should allow him to excel at the sport for years once he breaks into the scene. Throughout the Knights' run in the 2023 OHL Western Conference Final, Cohen flashed his playmaking abilities by posting 9 goals and 21 points in 20 games played. This playoff was a bit of a coming out party for him, as he showcased that he could produce points when his team needed it most, as well as shut down the opponents. Next up is the Metro Division, and starting us off is the Carolina Hurricanes with Scott Morrow. At 6'2" and 192 pounds, Morrow is already a dominant presence on the blue line. He's an elite, fluid skater, which, when paired with his size, strong edge work, and agility, makes him very difficult for attackers to get around. He is aggressive in the neutral zone, attacking his opponents and closing out their line of sight before they can get into a spot to take a shot. But where Morrow really shines is when the puck is on his stick. In his first season at St. Mary's U18 in 2018-19, at just 16 years old, he was second in scoring among defensemen, putting up 15 goals and 52 points in 53 games. The following season, he was even more lethal around the net, scoring 22 goals and 67 points in 46 games, which ranked third on the team. In 2020-21, he only appeared in 24 games, but still sat third on the team in scoring and 7th among the United States hockey schools with 6 goals and 33 points. Next up, Columbus Blue Jackets with Adam Fantilli. Fantilli has a skill set of a first overall pick, and there were glimpses of it multiple times in the NCAA for the high-powered Michigan Wolverines. Fantilli possesses everything a scout looks for in a top-tier center, from his size, speed, and playmaking ability to his hockey IQ, puck handling, and accurate shot. He has all the tools to be a massive difference maker in the NHL one day. New Jersey Devils, Luke Hughes. Luke Hughes is one of the top players in the class, and he has arguably taken the biggest step forward. His offensive timing has improved, and his defensive game continues to show progress. He is utilizing his mobility at both ends of the ice, but not just for rushes down the boards or around the zone. Luke is skating with a purpose when the puck is on his stick, whether he's walking the blue line with his impressive lateral mobility or cutting into the crease with his agility and quickness. Luke knows how to put pressure on his opponents. The biggest reason that he's been able to take this step is because he's been exhibiting an advanced awareness of play. Up next is the New York Islanders with William Dufour. You get noticed if you can score and if your two-way game is strong. That's what Dufour brings to the table. One moment he's in your face playing a physical game, the next he's posting a 14-game point streak against you. He has a size at 6'2" and is approaching 200 pounds. After a trade to Drummondville, he finished the season at nearly a point per game. Although Dufour crapped the bed in his NHL debut this year against the Bruins, he still is a great prospect, and if he cleans up some aspects of his game, he could be great. Next up is the New York Rangers with Gabe Perreault. The son of longtime NHLer Yannick, Gabe is a highly skilled, offensive-minded winger who has a variety of tricks in his arsenal that makes him a threat on the power play. His offensive abilities bleed into both playmaking and shooting, but I think he's more of a pass-first player. He is good at reading plays and making quick, smart decisions in the offensive zone and has great vision. Perreault is going to be an asset on the power play for the Rangers in years to come. He has the ability to play along the perimeter and distribute to his teammates, and also hang around the net looking for soft areas off the back post for scoring chances. That's the role I'd look to play him in. He will position himself to be able to capitalize on rebounds, which opens up a world of potential for him to receive passes off the goalie's pads for strong scoring opportunities. Next up is the Philadelphia Flyers with Matej Michkov. What makes Michkov stand out is his puck skills and overall intelligence on the ice. He is a highly creative player, and that allows him to create space for himself and his teammates in various situations. He can stick handle his way out of trouble, and the puck can sometimes seem to be glued to his stick as he works his way around the offensive zone. He anticipates the play well and can attack an open seam with a wicked shot or a pass with pinpoint precision. Next up, we have the Pittsburgh Penguins with Braden Yeager. The thing that jumps out at you about Yeager's game is his shot and his willingness to use it. He's got a quick release and hits his target with deadly accuracy. He has over 60 goals in his last 2 seasons in the WHL and could have probably had a lot more if he was asked to adopt a more shoot-first mentality. His shot does not rival the best goal scorers in the world, but it is dangerous enough that could develop into a 30-goal scorer in the NHL at his peak. Lastly is the Washington Capitals with Ryan Leonard. Ryan Leonard's future in hockey will likely be decided by his versatility. Few players can play one position at a top level, yet Leonard has played center, right wing, and left wing throughout the season for the U.S. National Development Team. He's also a threat in both the defensive and offensive zones, as he will play hard against the boards to win puck battles behind the net, only to turn around and bring it back up the ice to create a scoring chance at the other end. During the 22-23 season with the U.S. National under 18, Leonard posted 39 goals and 73 points in 45 games played. Then, in 15 games played so far with the USN TDP, he scored 10 goals and 19 points. So he is no slouch when it comes to scoring, even if he isn't expected to be a major offensive driver. Second to last is the Central Division, starting with the Arizona Coyotes with Logan Cooley. Cooley will succeed in the NHL due to his complete game and Selke Trophy-like qualities. He doesn't only thrive in the offensive zone, he can make elite plays in the defensive zone too. Combined with his face-off ability, diligence to a 200-foot game, smart stick, and high hockey IQ, he is someone every aspiring Stanley Cup winner wants on their team and every coach wants on the ice in in key situations. The one you guys have been waiting for, we have the Chicago Blackhawks and Connor Bedard. Connor Bedard is going to be a special player in the NHL sooner rather than later. He has such an incredible wrist shot that you could drop him in the NHL this year and he'd feast. Bedard's wrist shot will be one of the absolute best shots in the NHL from the moment he arrives, with the power and deception to make professional goalies tremble in their creases. Bedard is more than just a shot. He checks all the boxes NHL teams look for, like stick handling, playmaking, and skating. Everything you could want out of an offensive player, he excels at. From transitioning the puck through the zone to reverse hits while under pressure, Bedard will put up points in the NHL, and that isn't really up for debate at this point. Up next is the Colorado Avalanche with Sean Behrens. Behrens' patience, vision, and creativity in the offensive zone are the reasons for his high assist totals. His decision-making is superb, knowing when and when not to hold on to the puck in both the defensive and offensive zones. Because of his strong decision-making, Behrens can at times break the stereotype that small defensemen cannot be defensively reliable. In his most recent season at the University of Denver, he played a total of 31 games, putting up 21 points within those games, being 3 goals and 18 assists. Up next is the Dallas Stars with Logan Stankoven. Stankoven has great wheels, his skating being one of his best assets. He can break away from the opposition if given even a slim chance and beat defenders out wide if their gap control isn't great. It isn't just straight line speed though. He can pivot and turn to create space for himself and teammates as well. His other great attribute is the shot. He has one of the quickest and most accurate in his class. He can beat WHL goalies from beyond the circles, and while it's unclear whether he can translate to success against NHL caliber goalies, it is a clear asset for him. Up next is the Minnesota Wild with Jesper Wallstedt. Selected round 1, pick 20 in the NHL draft by the Minnesota Wild in 2021, he had a tremendous season playing for, sorry if I pronounce this one wrong, but the Luleå HF, posting a sparkling 2.23 goals against and a .908 save percentage to go along with 2 shutouts. Wallstedt has a potential to be a franchise goaltender in the NHL. Almost every attribute he has seems dominant, elite, Vezina Trophy caliber netminder. In a few years, we will be talking about him in the same breath as Vasilevsky, Hellebuck, and the like. Up next is the Nashville Predators and Joakim Kemell. As for what he brings, his stick handling and shot might be his strongest attributes. He has the ability to get creative with the puck, which often helps him beat defenders on the rush and create opportunities of said rushes. As for his shot, simply put, it's hard and it's accurate. Pause. Whether it's a blistering wrister or a one-timer in tight, Kemell could have had one of the top 3 shots among the top 10 prospects in the 2022 NHL draft. Now, keeping in mind his size, physicality isn't quite one of his strong suits. That's why we see him trying to stick check more often than laying the body. This goes for both ends of the ice, where Kemell has relied heavily on trying to poke check pucks from defenders' sticks rather than engage physically. While that might have been one of his shortcomings as a player, it did not steer teams away from him as he was selected 17th overall. Up next is the St. Louis Blues with Jimmy Snuggerlund. I came to find out it's pronounced Jimmy Snuggerud, so my bad. Both his father and grandfather played for the Minnesota Golden Gophers and Team USA, and Snuggerlund is continuing this tradition. Not only has he suited up for the U.S. national U18 team, but he did commit to the University of Minnesota, where in his first season played 40 games with 21 goals, 29 assists, equaling 50 points in 40 games. Snuggerlund is arguably in the best position to develop his game and reach the NHL. Since he committed to play at the University of Minnesota, the Blues know they can stash him at one of the elite hockey universities in the United States to develop his game for up to 4 years. Now moving on into the last division, which is the Pacific, we have the Anaheim Ducks with Leo Carlsson. Carlsson is a very strong and talented playmaker that shows excellent pose and confidence when he has control of the puck. From his puck handling to constantly finding the open spaces, everything he does is effortless. He's extremely calm and he shows no panic in high pressure situations, as his awareness and smarts allow him to be a threat in all 3 zones to find wide open space and attack. Even at the 2023 World Juniors Championship, he was given every opportunity to succeed in a top line role, and he certainly made an impact with 6 points in 7 games. Next up is the Calgary Flames with Dustin Wolf. Dustin Wolf, selected late in the 2019 NHL draft, has risen through the ranks to become one of the most highly regarded goalie prospects in the league. Over the past 4 years, Wolf has consistently been recognized as the best goalie, claiming the title twice in the WHL and AHL. His impressive list of awards includes the Les Cunningham Trophy as the AHL MVP. Wolf's potential as a future NHL star is undeniable, making him the Flames' top prospect. Next up is the Edmonton Oilers with Matej Petrov. Matej Petrov is a promising forward prospect and is entering his first professional season in 2023-2024. Known for his elite offensive talent, Petrov amassed 90+ points in both of his OHL seasons, showcasing his scoring ability. While he may be slightly behind other Oilers forward prospects who gained AHL experience last season, Petrov Kucherov's offensive prowess is expected to translate well into the AHL, making him an exciting prospect to watch. Following the Edmonton Oilers, we have the Los Angeles Kings with Brandt Clarke. What set Clarke ahead other defensemen in the 2021 draft was the fact that he was a right-handed defenseman, a position sought after by a number of teams. That, on top of the fact that he's a mobile defenseman who isn't afraid to create and join the rush, you're looking at a defensive prospect that could push the boundaries of what some teams would expect from him. His skating is exceptional, he has good first step and can reach top speed quicker than many of the other top defenseman prospects in that draft. He's quick on his edges and can make defensive plays before turning the puck back up the ice on a dime. Next up is the San Jose Sharks with Will Smith. Smith has the potential to be a top-line center with great two-way game, and he's pretty safe bet in my mind to become at least an excellent second-line scorer. He will control an NHL power play from the flank, both as a finisher and a distributor, and he could even turn into the guy you want on your penalty kill as well. Smith has 90-plus point potential, and his ability to pull off the things he does at such high speeds gives us hope that he'll be able to execute similar moves in the NHL someday. Up next is the Seattle Kraken with Shane Wright. Wright is a highly skilled and very responsible two-way center that possesses an offensive flair. The one thing that stands out immediately in his games is his hockey IQ. He has a keen eye as he thinks and reads the game at a very quick pace, being able to make snap decisions and catch opponents off guard, while rarely making a mistake in the process. Wright can do it all offensively. He's a very smooth skater and has great agility and foot speed. He's quick in transition as he's always able to gain entry into the offensive zone with ease, being able to weave his way through defenders and drive hard to the net for scoring opportunity. Up next is the Vancouver Canucks with Tom Willander. Recently selected 11th overall in the 2022 draft, he is the first defenseman to have a top pairing ceiling since Quinn Hughes was chosen 7th overall in 2018. Much more polished defensively than Hughes was when he was drafted, Willander's skating, hockey IQ, and defensive chops will be well received when he makes it to the NHL. Committed to the prestigious Boston University in 2023-24, Willander is coming off a season where he played a leading role for Team Sweden at the 2023 U18 World Championship. He finished the tournament with 3 goals and 8 points in 7 games and eclipsed the 20-minute plateau 5 times, including a 30-minute and 30-second effort in the gold medal game against the United States. Last but not least is the Vegas Golden Knights with Lucas Cormier. Cormier is always looking to drive the puck to high-dangered areas, sometimes acting as a fourth forward. He has NHL-level vision and stick handling that allows him to manipulate and draw in defenders or get himself out of high-pressure situations. Despite being 5'10", 176 pounds, Cormier has fit in comfortably at the AHL level without having to compromise his game to adapt to the physical disadvantages he faces. He plays with a high level of intensity in the defensive zone and doesn't back down from checks, but possesses a high-level IQ that allows him to restrain himself from making bad decisions in his own end. Well, that's every NHL team's best prospect in my opinion. If you guys are still here, thank you so much for watching and consider hitting the like and subscribe button as we're closing in on 1,000 subscribers.